Hold on a minute. Wow, it's been 8 months? Okay, welcome everyone, my name is Max and today I'll be showing you how I make my thumbnails for my Minecraft edits in Davinci Resolve. Let's get started. Okay, so before we start, get yourself a Fusion comp and open the Fusion comp. And here's my layout. I also have my second viewer here. If you haven't already known, when you open Fusion composition for the first time, there will be 2 viewers. Usually you use the second viewer because that's what Davinci defaults to, but you can use one if you want. But it's user preference. And I have inspector on the right side and nodes on the bottom. So before making a thumbnail, there are 5 stages of doing so. The first stage would be getting screenshots. The second one would be masking and placements, and inside of that masking and placement, there's also an option of adding subtle effects, which is like adding blurs or adding drop shadow. The third one would be adding overlays. Fourth one would be color correction, and the fifth one would be adding tags. Usually I use around 2 to 4 screenshots, but for this tutorial I'll use 4 because 2 of them would be for subjects and the other 2 would be additional details or assets. Alright, so of course you can use any screenshot that you want. If it's replay, you can use replay screenshots. If it's like POVs, you can use POVs, but for now I have POV screenshots here. If you recognize these screenshots, they are for my Ackerman thumbnail. Okay, so these 2 here would be the main subject, and these 2 here would be the additional details. Now the second stage would be masking and placements. So to do so, we get our background node and we connect it here. We add our multi-merge and we get the main subjects first. The reason why I added masking into this is because we are going to be doing a bit of masking on the characters and doing something, I forgot what it's called. We'll be doing some dividing, or we're making it so we can fit 2 screenshots in one. So we're going to be cropping this one in half and we're going to be putting this one in on the other side. So similar to my my Ackerman thumbnail, I'm going to be focusing on the first one first, which is this one. So now I'm going to add our transform node. I'm going to add the transform node, zoom it in, and then position it to the side. I might just add a bit of an angle to make it not stale, because I just want to make it interesting. Okay, so we'll do that. But maybe position it a bit side here. Yeah, that should maybe make it slightly less angled. Now we have this. We're gonna go focus on the second one. Add a transform node, zoom it in, and then position it to the side here. Maybe slightly zoom it out, and then we're gonna add our polygon node onto our media in, and we're gonna go to here, press invert to see this. And then we're gonna make like a curved mask here. So now we're gonna make, and then turn off invert, turn on soft edge, and go back to this. Now we have this. From first glance, this looks good enough for, you know, this looks good enough. You don't have to add any more details, but for me at least, I want to add a bit more to this to make it more alive, I guess. So we go back to the first one, the first media in. We're gonna copy this or duplicate this. We go focus here, add our polygon node, invert it, resize our viewer, and then we're gonna make a mask on the subject. So right after masking the subject, we want to copy the transform node onto the masked subject so we can get basically the same placements as the background. So, and now we're going to add it to the multi-merge, and as you can see, the character is now overlapping with the second screenshot. Instead of having it, just faded in the background, we could just add it onto the, onto the foreground. And I'm gonna do the same thing for this for this subject too. Now if I've masked the second one, the second subject, we can go back to, I'm gonna just stop him there. Yeah, it's gonna be the same thing as before. We've finished with the main ones. Now we're gonna add details. So the first one I'm gonna be doing is the sword. As you can see here, it doesn't show here, but that's the thing. I want it to be up in this frame. As you just saw right now, the screenshot is in high FOV and the sword is not close to here. We could, however, take this sword and just enlarge it, but it won't look good. So, and yes, this is speaking from past experience. Anyways, yeah, now we have the screenshot of the sword being up close. We get our polygon tool again, our favorite friend, and we just mask him away. Alright, finish masking it, and now we're gonna add a transform node to move it. If you want to, you can resize it. And for this one, I might just angle it a bit. There we go. Yeah, now we have that. Now we're moving on to the second asset, which is sign. I'm gonna do the same thing as my Ackerman thumbnail, and I'm just gonna add a sign behind here. Focus on the media in here, and then invert. And now we're gonna mask. Right, the first mask is done, and as you just saw in the screenshot, there are some gaps here. So with that, I'm gonna add another polygon node, and I'm just gonna mask this part out by doing so. And after finishing, it doesn't seem to have changed anything. That's because our paint mode is currently now in merge. And to remove this, we just change it to subtract, and now it's gone. So we're just gonna do the same thing again. Add our polygon node under here, and then we're just gonna mask this part out. So now change the paint mode to subtract, and now we have this. Of course, it doesn't look the cleanest. I mean, albeit the thumbnail is gonna be in like 480p when they just show the preview. Alright, now focus back to the media out, and oh, I just realized that this isn't really gonna work, so we're gonna add it to multi-merge, and I'm gonna add it in front of where? Oh wait, no, I messed up. It's gonna be this one. Yeah, so it's gonna be here. Media in, it's gonna be there. Then we're gonna add a transform node. We're gonna move it here, add an angle, and just do this. Actually, I want to make it so that the thing actually shows. So maybe angle it a bit. There we go. And now with that done, oh god, there's a lot of nodes. I just realized. Let's move on to 2.5, minor effects. So what I mean by minor effects is that we're gonna add a bit of defocus for the background and we're gonna add drop shadow for the subjects. So with that, I'm gonna go here real quick, and I'm gonna add a blur node onto this transform, increase the size a bit, and this is gonna make it so the subjects are gonna be the main focus point, as opposed to having a lot of distractions such as the background. And that's the only reason why I made it out of focus. And another thing is that I'm gonna add a blur node here for this. I don't know if it's a sign. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna add a blur to the sign. I'm gonna re-angle this a bit. There we go. And now I'm gonna add a drop shadow. So first drop shadow. Oh, you can't really see it, but it's on my second screen. I'm gonna add a drop shadow here. I'm gonna drop distance to 0, shadow strength to 1, and then blur to... Honestly, you can change the blur to however you want. I just want to make it so it's visible. And now we have this. That's done. That was really easy. Now, the third stage is going to be overlays. So if you have like in a folder for like overlays for your edits, you can use it for basically your thumbnail too. So just open your overlay folder. This one, I got this from YouTube, and so is this one. I got it on YouTube as well. And beforehand, we're gonna add a merge node here, and then we're gonna change it to screen, and now we're gonna copy paste it. This is gonna make it so we don't have to change the blending mode every time we add a new overlay. Considering that these overlays have like black background, you could just change the apply mode or the blending mode to screen. Now we're gonna go ahead and add ourselves an overlay. Add it there, and it doesn't really show it because, I mean, obviously this is video. The overlay is a video, but you can basically change the time by changing trim. Gonna change it to this, I guess. Yeah, that works. And now we're gonna add another one, which is, I guess fire would work. And if you don't want this color, you can obviously just change the hue by going to the color corrector node and just changing the hue. Okay, that one should be good. And now we're gonna decrease the height of this, make it look like the particles are coming down from the bottom, even though it's like a fire thing. I want to add like an overlay in the background of the subjects. So with that, I'm gonna be using this one, this spinny. Go to multi-merge. I'm gonna move it here. No, here. Okay, so change the apply mode to screen yet again, and then reduce the size because this video overlay is in 4K. So yeah, you just change it. Now you don't really have to do this, but since I want to show off the overlay more, I'm gonna decrease the background brightness. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now we're gonna be adding our overlays. I mean, if you want to, you can add an absurd amount of overlays. I mean, you can't really judge you. If you want to add more, you can, but for me, I'm gonna be adding some, but not the ones that are gonna be distracting. I'm gonna be adding the ones that are like just minor details, or like small adjustments basically. Alright, now that's done. We don't really need this one because we've already added a lot more CC or overlays than what we wanted. Alright, the fourth one, color corrections. So now we're gonna add our curve and just basically make like an S curve basically to make it so the darker ones are darker and the brighter ones are bright. So now we're gonna add color corrector. We're gonna color correct it, I guess. We're gonna color correct it to whatever you want. I mean, it depends on what theme you're going for, but for me, I'm just gonna eyeball it because I don't really have any theme for this one. And yeah, it's not that hard actually to add a CC. But now we're gonna be going to the fifth part, which is text. As you guys have seen from my thumbnails, the texts have some sort of like detailing to it. It's like some parts have glow, but the others don't. That's because I make my own custom like texture. So we're gonna go to the background. We're gonna choose whatever we want. For this one, I'm gonna choose this just gray, and then we're gonna add another. We're not gonna add that one. We're gonna add a fast noise. We're gonna change this to gradient and then turn this down. The reason why I changed it from 2-color to gradient is because of this. It'll basically just remove the alpha in the background. So having detail or having to use gradient and turning down the black color it's all right. Right now we're gonna increase the X scaling and then decrease the Y scaling. Add more actually, yeah, this one might work. Yeah. Now we're gonna add a text node. We're gonna do Ackerman. We're gonna choose a font. We're gonna increase this. Add another merge. We're gonna connect the first merge into here, and now we have this. Change this to a top, and this looks alright already. But to make it much more pop, I'm gonna add an X glow effect. You can find this effect in Reactor. So yeah, it's not big of a deal. It's just, I mean, it might take a while for everything to load properly, but I honestly do not care. And now we have this. We're gonna increase the X glow by a bit, as you can see here. And now we're gonna add a dent node or a lens curve or a lens distort under the X glow. Yeah, we're gonna be doing this. Honestly, there we go. And now I'm gonna add a merge node here, connect it, and now we should have something that is viewable. And see, this is yeah, this is what I go through whenever I make thumbnails. I just land myself in a dilemma. See, to most people this looks alright already, but for me, I don't really like it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be moving all of this onto the side, and now I'm gonna be adding a brightness contrast. And yeah, that's done. I'm gonna be adding another overlay, which is just the background node. Gonna change the color to probably on the purple side, yeah. And then I'm gonna add a rectangle node, invert, increase width and height, and then corner radius turn on. Gonna do it to here, and then gonna add another rectangle node, but this one's gonna be a subtract node. Put it here. I'm gonna put another one right here, and now we're gonna do X glow. Gonna add a gain, and then gonna add a bit of fall off. Ooh, that's a bit bright actually. Okay, so now this is a bit too bright, so I'm gonna decrease the radius by a bit. Alright, now we're gonna add another overlay, which is gonna be the border. Of course, this is not like, you know, this is not mandatory. You could just stop at the text and just use it as a thumbnail. But I don't usually like going that route because it doesn't look good. So we have this. We have a thumbnail. And yeah, that's about it. And to save it, you can just right click, save it as, and I'm gonna just put whatever you want. Change the all files to JPEG, because if you save it as a PNG, it will basically eat a lot more storage, because an average size for these thumbnails are basically like 8 megabytes. And yeah, after you've done everything, you just press save and you can use this thumbnail for your next edit. Yeah, that's about it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Yeah, see ya.